Hello, how's it going?
It is going phenomenally well.
Whoa.
I got to go get my daughter's permit with her, and then
Oh,
we went driving for the first time today.
awesome. How was she? Like, did she, was this a scary thing for her, an exciting thing for her?
It was super exciting. Um, I'm assuming both my kids had this response, and I'm guessing most people do. They couldn't imagine how much they had to learn until they were in the driver's seat.
Yes, right? Yeah.
But it's so fun. We had a blast. The place we went to drive in the parking lot was right down the street from Costco. So then we sat at Costco and had pizza, and it was just super fun. We had a blast.
Ah, that sounds
But
great.
it was perfect. But how are you doing?
Well, I'm doing quite well also. I picked up my son from school, and since he is just a couple of weeks away from getting his license, he is,
Ooh.
yeah, so he's doing all the driving and has for some time now. So I get to the school to pick him up, and then I jump over into the passenger seat, and then we head off to the gym. So we went to the gym. I was not feeling it. I did not want to go to the gym, but whatever. We went anyway, had a really good workout, and now I feel energized. I feel good, and I'm glad I went to the gym.
Mm, that's perfect.
Yeah.
All right. Here's my thing. I want to have a slightly different conversation today.
All right.
So this week is Thanksgiving week, right? Like 2 days from now, Thanksgiving is happening. And
Turkeys
then,
shall be slaughtered.
yes, turkeys shall be slaughtered, except in the White House, where one out of every two shall be pardoned. Um, but there is like a weight of intentionality that lasts from now until the end of the year, particularly in like spiritual circles. And I want to completely rebel against it.
All right. We don't do a lot of rebellion on this show, so
Yeah.
this is a nice change of pace.
Okay, hold on. Let me back up then. I'll couch it in terms we are more conversant with.
Okay.
There is a theme of intentionality and seriousness from now till the end of the year, and I want to protest against it. I want to be a Protestant.
Uh, oh gosh. Oh wow, you really went
This-
a long way for that whole
yeah,
Protestant statement.
I will go as far as it takes to tell a joke. Over the river, through the woods. Speaking of holidays, we'll go all the way to Grandma's house. But, but look, we're it's Thanksgiving week,
Yeah.
and we're always looking for the like meaningful, deep, like profound reason for Thanksgiving and how it's going to change our lives and how that's going to like edify us. And like, can we just like back off and be honest that there are some stupid things in life that are just awesome?
Okay. Yes,
I,
I can acknowledge there are stupid things that are awesome.
I just want to talk today about stupid things I'm thankful for because it's Thanksgiving. I want to be grateful, but I want to be grateful in the least meaningful way possible.
Okay. Um,
So that's where I'm at. What do you think?
I it sounds like a flippant Thanksgiving.
Yes, a flippant Thanksgiving to you, sir.
Oh, jeez. That sounded mean, but I'll take it. And a flippant Thanksgiving to you.
Ooh, I think we have an episode title.
Okay, but all right, then you have pretty much come prepared then, I assume, with
Oh,
a
yes.
list of things that you, I don't know, find stupid, but also awesome. Also awesome.
Yes.
That is not an easy thing to say.
It's
Okay, so tell me what you're thankful for.
all right. I'll give you one, but then you've got to jump in too.
All right.
I am weirdly grateful. I'm not even sure if you'll know what this is. Do you know what a torsion spring is? I had to look up what this was called.
No, I don't.
Okay. You know, on a clothespin, there's the little metal piece.
Yeah.
That. I am super grateful for that little metal thing.
Okay.
The number of weird places I end up using one of the, like, our house for the entire duration of our marriage has been littered with clothespins that have been pulled apart because I found some weird use for the torsion spring that required me to bend it out of its normal sort of form. Like, so here's the reason this happened today. Today, I got a new, you know, the little lime squeezy things that have the lime juice inside or the lemon juice inside or whatever for when
Okay.
you're cooking.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, first of all, I don't know why we decided just to make that one thing look like the thing that it tastes like. But I am thankful that lemon juice comes in a lemon looking thing and lime juice comes in a lime juice looking thing because that's awesome.
Yeah.
But if you try to squeeze the juice out of it, like they seal the top and you need to poke the tiniest little hole in order to get the juice to squeeze out. So the torsion spring of the clothespin that was in the utensil drawer, because we use clothespins to kind of as chip clips a lot of times.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I pulled it apart and it was the perfect size, as it always is for so many weird little things. It's just a built-in handy dandy little tool for a lot of different reasons, including opening the lemon and lime juice. I'm super grateful for the torsion spring. That's what I'm saying.
Okay. So did you get hired at 5 Minute Crafts? I feel like you're
No.
going to do like this whole video of like, here's 50,000 uses for a torsion spring. Wouldn't you know it?
No, I just felt like I had to use a recent one. I can't remember if that was yesterday or today, but because you were going to be like, why the heck are you grateful for that? That's a dumb thing. But I'm not kidding. When my wife listens to this, she is going to laugh because of the number of clothespins that have littered our lives because I have taken them apart in order to use the spring for some stupid reason.
All right.
But okay.
Okay.
But what about you? Give me something you're thankful for that is not spiritually profound.
I'm going to struggle with this because I'm not sure. Like you set the bar. I don't know if that's high or low, but I'm not going to come up with something that dumb that I'm thankful for. But I will say this, and I know a lot of our listeners probably have the same experience, but I am thankful for being able to tell Alexa to turn the lights on. That
I don't have that.
Oh, it is such a dream. So the reason we got this is so our couch doesn't sit all the way up against the wall. We actually built a kind of a table that is the height of the couch that sits behind the couch. So you can set your cup or glass or whatever behind you on there.
Ooh, that's a good idea.
Yeah. And we set a couple lamps on there. So then we ran the electrical cord to a power strip and then mounted that power strip underneath the table that we had built, which was a nice little solution. But then it required us to kind of really bend under that table, reach our hand way up there, feel around for the little switch to turn the lamps on and off. It was so inconvenient. And then one day, Amazon was running a sale for these little plugins. And I'm like, this is brilliant. And now I can just tell Alexa to turn these on and my lamps come on and it's wonderful. And I don't have to like become a contortionist to make this happen.
That's great. Yes. I have some of those. I tried to use one. We have a space heater that we use in our sunroom. And I just wanted it to automatically turn off every night so that if one of my kids was up later than me, then I knew the space heater would be off at night. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. The space heater was not pleased to be plugged into something extra in between it and the power strip.
Oh.
It got angry and stopped working until I took that off.
Okay.
I do not understand what that means, but yes, that's amazing. So you can say, Alexa, turn the lights on.
Yes. And sometimes she even listens.
That sounds about right.
Yes. All right. I don't know if you're going to clear your own bar for stupid things, but you're up.
All right. Um, so every TV in our house is a Roku TV, I think. I literally think every single one happens to be a Roku TV. I am grateful for the price of Roku remotes because remotes disappear in our house and I have no idea where they go.
Right?
I think in the 3 years we have lived in this house, we have bought somewhere between 12 and 15 remotes.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, no. I mean, this is not like, oh, we bought two. Like one Christmas, we bought a pack of four. Then, like 6 months later, we bought a couple more. And that, like, I mean, and every TV came with one. I don't. Do you remember the borrowers?
Yeah.
I am becoming convinced that the borrowers have a very, very tiny Roku TV. And they are using our 15 remotes somehow to control it very, very carefully. Because I'll search for them. And the only one that has never gotten lost is we have one that the battery cover broke and doesn't fit back on. And so the batteries can come out really easily. For whatever reason, that one never gets lost. And so the only possible solution here is that the borrowers are like, we don't want the broken one. Come on.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so, yeah, I just don't. I'm so glad that at least we're paying like whatever it is, $7 per remote instead of like $30 per remote when we practically need to put them on subscribe and save at this point.
Now, okay, so here's your challenge. To find some way of maintaining your remotes using torsion springs.
I would love to. I don't know that I can. Frequent, like I can't tell you the number of times I have had to download the Roku app onto my phone because I still can't find any, and I've just given up on life. And I'm like, fine, I will just control the dumb thing with my phone. Except my phone only works for like 2 out of the 4 TVs for some reason. It doesn't recognize the other two, so it's a whole thing. But that's not the point. The point is Roku remotes are cheap, and I'm glad. So thank you, Roku. That's my point.
Okay, well, I'm not going to thank Roku. I'm actually going to thank my daughter for this next one because.
Okay, this is already starting to sound sappy.
Okay, fine. Jeez, I feel very accused right now.
I'm judging you.
Yeah, I know. Okay, so I had to thank my daughter because she bought me this mug that I use all the time, and I'm super thankful for it because this mug solves a problem that I frequently have. And so imagine just your normal pottery mug. It's actually, painted quite well. It's beautiful. But then imagine on the very front of it, where normally people would put words or some kind of image or logo or something. Instead, the only way I can describe it is put like a growth on there, just a nice little pouch. And it's just this extra pouch on the side that appears to be useless and does nothing until you brew some tea. And now you have a little pouch. Yes, it's a place to put your tea bag once your tea is properly steeped. And you could just set it aside in this little pouch. It's all contained in this mug. It is so awesome. I love this mug, and I'm using it as we record.
Okay, that's a weird one, but that's amazing. That's very clever.
Yes.
Somebody was thinking in that situation.
Absolutely. Because when I first unwrapped this, I have to admit, I'm like, what? I don't understand what I was just gifted. This is weird. But then once you know, oh, that's for a tea bag, you think this is brilliant. Brilliant.
Okay. Well, I don't know if I can quite accomplish something as meaningful. That is both humorous and meaningful all at the same time.
And evidently sappy.
And a tad on the sappy side because you had to thank your daughter for it.
I'm offended that's sappy.
That's all right. I am okay with you being offended. I'm not thankful for it, but I'm okay with it.
All right.
But you know what I am thankful for?
I can't wait.
I am thankful for Wi-Fi network names.
All right.
Okay, like you know how like you can rename your Wi-Fi network.
Yep. Yep.
Okay, so ours is renamed a play on our last name. And so that's fine, whatever. But anywhere I ever go, there are some weird ones. For example, I happened to be at the library. I was thinking about this and I looked, and lo and behold, somewhere near the library, there's not even houses near, I don't know why, but somebody had named a nearby Wi Fi network. I got this. I
All
just
right.
think that's great. But
Yeah.
where I used to live, there was one that I saw all the time. That is why I am so grateful for this. In the again weird and twisted way, it was, "Can you hear me scream?"
Wow. That
That's just
that's
weird.
dark. Like I got this. That was like very nice, self-motivating and all of that. Can you hear me scream?
Hmm.
That's wow.
Right?
Yeah.
Right? Like, and this was in New England. I could see somewhere between 18 and 25 houses from my front door. I have no idea who this is, but I have no idea what they were thinking. I think they just thought, what would be funny? If every time somebody looked at the Wi Fi, they realized that somewhere somebody had titled their Wi Fi this.
No,
It's a pretty funny joke.
I think it was more like I don't have to password protect this system if I make it this. Like nobody's going to log on to that.
I certainly didn't try,
Yeah, exactly.
but it is a weird little pocket of private creativity in our weird little world.
Yeah.
So next time you're someplace, go and look at what the other Wi-Fi names are. I'm thankful for weird ones. What
All
about you?
right. I'm thankful for slip-on shoes.
Oh.
I that makes me, I don't know, 80. I don't know what age you have to be to, but seriously, I bought a pair of these. This, by the way, this is the pair of shoes that I bought when I like had to preach suddenly, and I'm like, oh, I'm
Mm.
gonna go buy anyway. Um, so I bought this pair, and I love them because I leave my house for work at 4 a.m. I'm
Mm.
never running early. Let's just put it that way. And so if I can just grab this, grab that, run out the door, I'm very happy and content. And so the fact that I can just stand there and slip my shoes right on from a standing position, tie nothing, fumble with nothing, just slide. I can already have my coffee in my hand, my backpack on my shoulder. I can have my lunch under my arm, and I can just slip into those shoes and walk right out the door. And I absolutely love that. It's a game changer for me in the morning.
That's amazing. I love it. Uh, well, if we're going for weird things that make our work lives easier, I have one that actually fits in that category.
All right.
So I do a lot of coaching. I sit in front of my laptop having conversations with people for hours. And for years, whenever I have had one on one meetings, I have drunk tea when I was talking to people. It's just kind of a way of helping me stay grounded in the moment. It also is a good way of pausing the conversation and not feeling like we have to fill it up with words. And so I'm always drinking tea in these conversations. However, when I watched myself drink tea from the particular angle of my camera that I use, I noticed that the mug like covers a weirdly large amount of my face. And
Okay.
so I am grateful for clear glass mugs
Really?
because I am not kidding. It just works better. I have two clear glass mugs, and it is just less noticeable when I'm sipping my tea if it's in a clear mug. It's a weird one. but it,
Okay.
I am grateful for clear glass mugs.
See, you can tell that you work from home and that you don't have to hide alcohol, right? In whatever you are drinking. I swear
So,
there are
Josh, what's it
times
like for you working at
I
where you
just
work? And
yeah.
we're really sorry. He's kidding. If you work where he works and happen to be his employer, he's not saying that he hides alcohol in his drinks. That's not what he's saying. He would never do that.
No, I would not. Part of our training as supervisors, we have to go through reasonable suspicion training to determine if somebody is intoxicated or if somebody is
Mm.
on drugs. And one part of that presentation is demonstrating all of the ways that people hide alcohol or drugs in the workplace. And there's a whole industry that I had no idea about that, like, they make little things that look like highlighters, but are in fact, you can hide liquor in them or, or drugs or whatever. And so they make all sorts of office supplies or innocuous things that look like they belong, but in fact, they're concealing contraband. And I just think about, there's often a joke at work as a result about like what's really in that water bottle or what's really in that cup or whatever. But you leave no question, and yet you even work from home.
Yeah, no, you know what I'm drinking. You can see the tea bag floating in it.
Yeah,
But yeah, so what else? What else is on your list?
I am so thankful for Life 360. Eh,
Ooh,
Do you have this?
yes.
Okay. I hopefully every parent out there has Life 360. It is a game changer with kids that are driving. And it's rather humorous at this point. So I work an hour away from home. Shelly works about 30 minutes away from home. Our son goes to high school about 45 minutes away from our home. Our daughter works in another location. My oldest son works in another location. And so the other day I had to take a screenshot of Life 360 and say, look at us. We're just spread out over all of this geographic space. But beyond just the humor of seeing us all scattered about like that, it's so nice to know, oh, look, they're almost home. And I don't have to send them 50,000 text messages. Or, oh, it doesn't look like they've left work late. They must have got held over or whatever. It's so nice to just have that peace of mind to know where your driving age kids are.
Okay, so I have to ask you a question. I've always wondered about whether anybody else has this experience with Life 360. We will often do this. Like if I know my son is getting off of work and he's coming home and I'm like making dinner or whatever and I'm trying to time it out right, I'll check and see, okay, he's driving now, I can get the steaks going or whatever.
Right.
But there are a number of times I have sent a very odd text as a result of Life 360. And I'm curious if you've ever sent this text. The text is, do you know that you're going in the wrong direction?
No, I have not sent that text. Uh, but I do have a funny story. But go on.
Okay, that's it. It's just periodically, and this is a kind of mock argument between my wife and I because I tend to be the like, just let him learn and figure it out. And whatever's going on, I'm sure he's in control and he'll figure it out. It'll be great. And my wife is like, you know what? We're like a team here, and I may have information he doesn't have. And so, I'll be like, you don't need to text him. He knows where he's going. And my wife will be like, I'm just going to text and ask. I'm like, come on. And then she'll text, do you know that you're going in the wrong direction? And we will see the little car icon slow down. And then we'll get a text, oops. And then we'll see the car icon going in the other direction.
um, no, never done that. But Life 360 does send like an audible alert when somebody's phone battery is dying.
Oh, yep.
And so my oldest son, he was with a group of friends, and not only was he in a circle of Life 360 users with his family, but he was in a circle of Life 360 users with his friends. And so
Mm-hmm.
they were all hanging out. Most of the friend group was there. One person in the friend group was not there. And all at once, the friend group got an audible alert that the one friend that wasn't there, their phone was dying. So they all at once texted that friend, charge your phone. So then they're like, no, I'm not going to do it because you all are trying to pressure me. And they're like, do it. Like, no, do it. No. Back and forth, back and forth. Finally, they're like, all right, we're just going to drive over there and make you charge your phone. And so the whole gaggle of them headed over to this friend's house. It was like 11:30 at night, but this person's mom works night shift. And so she like opened the door and she's like, oh my gosh, people, this is so great. Come on in. Let's start a movie. Y'all want popcorn? This is fantastic. And so, yeah, they made her charge her phone and they all sat down and watched a movie at their friend's house.
Go team.
Yeah. Yeah. Whose turn is it? Oh, that was Life 360. That was me. It's your turn.
Okay. This is probably the biggest and most comprehensive one on my list. And I don't know what was going on in my head when I wrote this down, but I can't say I'm not thankful for it.
Okay.
Interior plumbing.
Oh my gosh. I have Western toilets on my list. Okay. This is so fantastic. This is the part of the show where things really go downhill. All right,
Well,
you first.
But at least in my case, they're going downhill through well-installed pipes.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, winter is coming, and the thought of having, I am at an age now, I cannot sleep through the night. The thought of having to go outside in the middle of just sounds horrible.
Yeah. That's how horror movies start and things like that.
Yes. No, absolutely. If I were to have to go outside in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom, I would be sure I was in a movie and someone is, your kids are at their friend's house and this is the movie they're watching with the popcorn.
Yes.
And I am about to be axes are about to happen. It's going to be bad.
Yeah, exactly. You're never going to be heard from again.
No, and all because interior plumbing didn't exist yet. And that's I am so glad.
Yeah.
That I get to go inside.
Well, I'm just
and then
glad.
Just push a button.
Right? Yes. I'm just glad we have Western toilets. I just all the other plumbing stuff is neat and fantastic, but something to actually sit on is phenomenal. Like the squatty potties in other parts of the world, I just don't know what I would do if that were how I lived on a normal basis. Like I could do it on a mission trip, the whole I'm roughing it kind of idea is fine, but I don't know, man. Coming back home and using a Western toilet is phenomenal.
I am 50% of the way there with you.
Only 50?
Only 50. When I'm at home, absolutely 100%. I will not use a bathroom in a public place. The thought of what is happening in that situation is so profoundly disgusting to me that it's not happening. Nope.
Well,
nope. I'm good.
I'll tell you, it's not as though every public squatty potty is particularly great either.
No, that's true.
The worst of them that I experienced was in India, and we were traveling across the country by train, and I kid you not, they have a squatty potty on the moving train, and there is nothing but railroad tracks under the hole.
At the end of the ride, did they count passengers to confirm that they're all still there?
I don't think so. I think
that seems like a structural problem.
Right? I know. Could you imagine sending your toddler in there?
No.
Oh,
Just to be clear, you're going to have to edit my volume on that last no, because that was a
Okay.
bit too loud.
You spiking the meter there?
Oh, so much you can't even imagine.
All right. Um, wow.
So
I don't
whose
even know
turn is
where
it?
we go after plumbing.
We no, I mean we did we just both go?
All
Because
right.
I said
Yeah,
interior plumbing. You said Western toilets. So is it me?
we'll both do one on the count of three. Ready? One,
Okay.
two, three. Electric coffee
IKEA Allen
grinder.
wrenches. Okay, you explain the electric coffee grinder.
Okay. So I take electric coffee grinders for granted because that's just we've had them for years. We use it all the time. But ours broke a couple of weeks ago. And so we took this coffee grinder that we have only for power outages. And it is a hand crank, like it's got the whole bowl on top, and you pour the beans in, and then you just hand crank and it pours down into this little cedar box underneath. Oh my gosh. It probably took 25 minutes of grinding to get enough grounds to be able to do a pot of coffee. It
Ooh,
was exhausting. And I'm like, wow, electric coffee grinders. This is now, I didn't know I needed to be thankful for this, but I am very thankful.
that totally makes sense.
Yeah. Uh,
Totally makes sense.
All right. And what is this about Allen wrenches or Allen keys?
Yeah. So you know how if you buy something from Amazon or IKEA or wherever that you're going to put together, about I want to say 10 years ago, they started including in the little kit of screws and everything, whatever tools you needed came in the kit.
Yeah.
So you did not have to get your own tools.
Yeah. They have like these
So,
tiny little wrenches and these tiny little
yeah,
Allen wrenches.
Alan, yeah. And so every time I build one of these, I know that I'm going to need to tighten it up a little bit after using it for 3 or 4 days. And so I never want to throw out the Allen wrench. And so I have a drawer that probably has like 17 of the exact same Allen wrench because all of these things, it's the same one.
I think there's two. I think there's two sizes.
Okay. So yeah, that's fair. Okay. But still, I don't need all of these. And so I like, but nevertheless, despite the fact that I have a bazillion of them now, if they didn't provide them, that those two Allen wrenches would be lost forever in my Allen wrench set
Yeah.
because I would cromp over to my tools, get that one Allen wrench, set it down on a coffee table, and it would be gone forever. Again, the borrowers would get it. And so I am just so grateful that somebody said to whoever designs these little kits of whatever, it's you've got like 364 parts here. Just throw in an extra part and give them an Allen wrench. It'll be fine. Like
I am
that's
I'm
awesome.
I'm picturing the day that you move to Oregon, which I'd still dream is going to happen. And the movers come and they're like, I didn't know we needed to create a whole box just for Allen wrenches and yet another whole box for all of the found Roku remotes. And yet here we are.
Yeah, but it's gonna happen.
Yeah. Yeah.
100%. All right, what else you got?
All right. This is my last one of the day. And I have to say, even though we are looking at November and this is not, this is not going to affect me for many months here in Oregon, I am thankful for SPF 50. I
Mm.
I burn like crazy every summer, and I just have to goop up with SPF 50 every single time I'm going to be out in the sun, and it makes it tolerable, and it makes it so that I can enjoy my time, and then not be miserable the next day because I'm going to have this horrible sunburn. So I'm thankful for SPF 50. I'm not sure if I lived at a different time or a different space where sunblock was not a thing, I would be a miserable human being.
That totally makes sense. Totally makes sense. Well, I want to use this as a moment. I want to turn to our audience and I've got two questions for them. First of all, I would like to hear from our audience. What are some stupid things that they are thankful for this Thanksgiving season? Let's lighten the mood a little bit. Let us know on social media. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, Threads. We just want to hear stupid things you're thankful for this season. But I also want to hear what the stupidest thing is that we came up with today. I'm just curious which thing will win because we came up with some very stupid things that are yet Thanksgiving worthy. So let us know.
I don't
What do
know.
you
Like,
think?
if you said torsion springs at the Thanksgiving table, I think you'd have to go sit at the kids' table.
So are you officially you're counting that one out of the voting? Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm just saying, like, I
Oh,
don't
it's just
think
a
I don't think it
potentially
would
bad word.
qualified as also good for Thanksgiving. Like, I don't. It's not
Okay.
Thanksgiving worthy.
All right.
Which
So then here is my third question. Could somebody please say Torsion Springs at the Thanksgiving table loud enough so that everybody in the room can hear it and just let us know what happened?
oh, that would be awesome.
We would be so grateful and will happily highlight your story after we hear it.
Yes. Okay, that would be
But,
awesome.
all right. But anyway, so Josh, I'm sure you have deeper and more profound things going on in your head than torsion springs and coffee grinders. What have you been thinking about this week?
So my thought comes from a source that it often comes from, and that is translating with my friend John. And we are still in the book of Matthew. Do you know how long Matthew is? If you ever try to translate a book of the Bible, don't choose Matthew. Choose like, Philemon. Like, just do yourself a favor. Jude, maybe. Um, anyway, we're still in Matthew. We're in chapter 21. I think it ends at some point. But at this point, this is where Jesus actually comes into Jerusalem riding on a donkey. And we're following along in some commentaries as we're translating. And we learn a lot about how this has very royal imagery of riding into town on a donkey. This is like a kingly thing to do. And so Jesus is declaring himself king by entering this way. And the crowd is, laying down their palm branches and their coats and they're shouting Hosanna and all of these things. But then part of the crowd actually refers to him as a prophet. And that kind of stood out to us because that's not the way Jesus is described most of the time in Matthew's gospel. We looked it up. There's a couple other times that he is described as a prophet, like 2 or 3 other places, but it is very rare. And so it was very odd that Jesus was referred to as a prophet, but as he's doing something very kingly. But then what's the very first thing he does? He marches straight up, like he goes straight into the temple, and he throws out everybody who is buying and selling. He overturns the chairs and the tables of the money changers, and he acts in a very prophetic way. I think if we look at the Old Testament prophets, they were very performative in the way that they brought their message to the people. It was in your face. It was something you couldn't look away from. He enacted his message. And to think of his cleansing of the temple in a very prophetic way was really interesting. I think sometimes we think of Jesus cleansing the temple as an act of anger, and surely that is a part of it. But the fact that the crowd refers to him as a prophet, and he steps in and does something very prophet-like, I think it's an intentional, calculated act to declare what type of prophet, priest, and king he really is.
That's fascinating. I had not thought about that particular thing in that particular way. That's great.
Yeah. I mean, this is the beauty of working slow through the text, right?
Mm.
This is what we've always said about translating, because I would have ran right over in my English translation the word prophet and just, okay, blah, blah, blah. And, oh, yep, I'm on to the Jesus cleansing the temple. I know this story, right? And you just don't think
Yeah.
about it until you're forced to go slow.
That totally makes sense. What a fascinating look into that story if that is a prophetic act in the Old Testament way of meaning that. That's so good.
Yeah. But what about you? What are you thinking about?
Oh man, I am about halfway through a book by Dane Ortland called Gentle and Lowly. And the essence of this book is to look, a lot of times when we think about theology and we look at Jesus, we look at what Jesus did and the theological implications of what Jesus did. And Ortland backs up and says, hold on a second. We need to look at who Jesus is from a theological perspective. What does the Bible say about the character of Jesus? And how does that shine a light on the nature of God?
Hmm.
And I'm finishing this up and I am going to push for us to have a conversation about it sometime soon because
Hmm.
it has had lots of nuggets of profound new thoughts. But even more than that, I think it is a beautiful meditation on a theme we desperately and often need to keep in front of us. And that is that it is the nature of God to be gentle and meek. And I don't think we think that most of the time.
Hmm.
So we'll have to talk more about it when I've finished, but it's so good.
Boy, that sounds good. I'm reminded as you're talking about that, that was an observation we made about John's use of describing the Trinity in the book of Revelation, and how John wasn't concerned to describe the Trinity like, the 4th century folks later did in very ontological ways. But instead, he described each member of the Trinity in very characteristic ways. Like, this is the character of the Spirit, or this is the character of Jesus, and how this person in the Trinity behaves, which is a very different thing than the ontological categories that we think of. And it sounds like this author is doing something similar by trying to just describe the essence of Jesus, the personality, the doings of Jesus. Well, maybe the doings are separate from.
Yeah, this is the who, not the what.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's very interesting.
Hmm.
But well, as is our custom, we don't want to inspire our listeners too much. So we want to make sure we end on a less inspirational note. So what do you
Yeah.
think about a Which Josh question?
Sure. Let's do it.
All right. Here we go. Which Josh has a son with 2 birthdays?
Yeah, 2 birthdays. My oldest son has 2 birthdays, and it's pretty darn cool because as we say on this show, I am Josh from Oregon. I grew up here in Oregon. I live in Oregon. My family was raised here in Oregon. We are Oregonians. It is in my blood. It is who we are. But you and I met in Missouri.
Mhm.
And our oldest son was actually born in Missouri at just before 1 a.m. Missouri time, which means in Oregon, it was just before 11 p.m.
Oh.
And so he has 2 birthdays, one in Missouri, but it was technically a different day in Oregon. And so he has his Missouri birthday and he has his Oregon birthday.
Man, way to capitalize. That's great. I love it.
Yeah, 2 birthdays.
That's awesome. Well, are you ready to dive into a continuing, deep, profound, and life-altering look at the holidays this year?
I'm ready for more nonsense, and I hope that's what you mean.
All right. Well, let's keep the lighthearted fun going next week with another episode, okay?
All right. I'm looking forward to it. Talk to you then.
Talk to you then. Bye.
All right. Bye.